Hi guys, 14 Prime here, back with another custom review. And today we're looking at the Transformers Shattered Glass Truck Blaster, because I did not think of a clever name, so I've just been calling it Truck Blaster. But anyways, here he is in his truck mode. So before we look at him, let's take a quick look at the paints. So of course we have our usual suspects, the white and red surface primer. And then our other usual suspect, TS79 Semi-Gloss Clear, which I mentioned at least 2 of those in nearly every video. Then we have some AS2 Light Gray, TS39 Mica Red, which is a really pretty color, by the way, that I don't get to use, TS41 Coral Blue, TS15 Blue. Then we have some X10 Gunmetal, X18 Semi-Gloss Black, some XF19 Sky Gray, and finally, red, which I'm pretty sure I used a mixed color for what I use this for. It's nothing major. I could have just used this, which it's been a few months since I've done it, so I'm going to be honest, I forgot why I used a mixed color. Maybe I just didn't have red. That makes sense. That sounds like me. But I'll talk about that in a second. But here he is in his truck mode. And of course this is a repaint of the Velocitron Scourge mold. Well, that version of the mold, it's Laser Prime, you know. So this is the thing I sort of hinted at the top 10 customs video. And my natural response to making it a normal universe truck blaster is to do the Shattered Glass one, so here we go. Which, like I had mentioned, I think in the video there, and then in its own review, it was still a really fun custom. It was one of my favorites of the year, and so I thought I would make my own, more or less, and here we go. Now, if you just looked at this and said it just looks like Scourge, yeah, alright, you win. Like, I didn't even, like on the original one, I didn't even flip these out. The darn gas cans. But on the regular truck blaster, I had to spray paint the entirety of the legs a different color. But on here, they were already just black, so I just, they just had to be kept. I did consider making more of the truck like gray, but then I thought it'd be fun to have a bit of like a color swap where the vehicle mode is more so black, but then the road mode has more gray going on in the upper body, which you can see just from the arms there. But there's some slight differences. That's what I use the red on, just the headlights. Like I said, nothing major. Painted this in some black just to give it a bit more, makes it look scarier, honestly. And of course you can still see the arms, you can see a bit of the chest. The legs here you can see a bit of, which we'll get in more so in the robot mode. But the truck mode is more or less just Legacy Scourge. I will not deny that. It is Legacy Scourge with slightly less teal and some random bits of blue in the back. and I guess some black on the front. It's nothing major. But I think it's more so just the idea of what it is pretty fun. I think it works for that. But let's go ahead and get him into his robot mode. And here in robot mode, you can see a lot more gray comes popping out of here. He has some on the shoulders, the arms, a bit on the stomach, and of course his head. But then there's a bit more of a layering of gray, because I left a lot of the regular dark gray plastic alone. And so instead of it just being like all this brighter gray, he has some brighter gray and darker gray to add a little bit more visual flair, and also because I didn't want to paint this blue. But you can see here it is very similar to the regular truck blaster custom. This time I did actually make the window a bit bigger instead of making it as small as it. I think it's still slightly too small, if I'm honest. Like, I really should have came a little bit further over, but it's progress. We did a little bit better. Speaking of progress, let me get up here to his head, because despite the fact that it is the regular Shattered Glass Blaster head, thanks to ID Armed for shipping this to me a few months back, appreciate it, because that would have made this a lot more difficult if I had to fully repaint it. But I actually repainted the face, because I despise that that glossy black paint that Hasbro use on their figures. And I didn't want it on this, so I just repainted the face the semi-gloss black, and it looks a lot nicer to me. While we're here, we can see how beautiful mica red is. That's the shade of red I use right there. I love it. It has a little bit of metallic flake to it. I don't get to use it nearly as often as I wish I did. There's not that much use for it, honestly. I don't use metallic colors often enough to justify it. But coming down here, I did leave the Scourge shoulder stacks sort of as they are, or at least the front missile pod covers. Because I figured black and like the teal was a pretty good color for the speakers. Because we're still going with that bit of an illusion to explain why his shoulders were so massive all of a sudden. Then the legs here, they have their bits of blue. They have some gunmetal on the thighs, and then some on the feet. A bit of extra color. And the blue does carry over to the sides behind the wheels. But, yeah. I do really like how this came out. Like I said, the truck mode is just very much Scourge. I won't deny that. But the robot mode, I do think, just makes up for it. And it's a natural response to, if Soundwave gets a van alt mode, why can't Blaster get something else too? And I think this really justifies, I think this really works with that, which, before we show that, I did give him a gun. It's an extra Netflix Magnus gun I have lying around. Because I do not have his normal weapon. I was going to paint it blue, but I decided in case I get a Blaster gun to paint blue like the rest of it, I'll leave it alone so I don't paint it and then need it for something in the future. So for now, it's just gray. I've thought about getting like the G1 Blaster gun. That really, it's going to be massive, but I thought about getting that and painting it blue because you can find those on eBay for relatively cheap. But we'll see. Let's just bring the camera down a bit for a few comparisons. Here he is with Shatterglass Soundwave. My beautiful custom that was my favorite from last year. I love him so much. But as you can see, I think these two work very well together. There's still the height difference. There's still, like, you still tell who Blaster is in his new, bigger body. I think it looks really nice. I really like how it came out. And then the man he's based on, here he is with the recent Hasbro. It was like 2021, wasn't it? 2022? So long ago. Feels like a lifetime ago. But here they are together, and you can see where a lot of the inspirations came from. The blue chest, the red, even the blue on the legs, and it's a gunmetal. I think on the Hasbro one, it's more like a metallic silver, but I decided just to make it more of a gunmetal, just a little bit darker. But I do really like how it came out. And even the blue going to the sides of the legs here is sort of meant to emulate the blue on his sides of the legs. And while we have them, let's go ahead and bring in every Shatterglass Blaster I have. That is every Shatterglass Blaster I have. I do have the New Age one on the way. That'll be my fourth. I was thinking about it with the Soundwave custom, and I was getting the stuff for the video. Like, why don't we do that with Blaster? And I was like, oh yeah, I just have one other guy. The Doctor Who one's cute. Do you guys want a video about these? They're cute, they're adorable, and I love them. Him and Soundwave both. I actually just messed with them yesterday. Such cute little guys. Love them to death. But, yeah. Overall, I do really like this custom. It was fun doing the regular truck blaster. It was a commission for a friend of mine, and we had a fun time planning it. And, of course, I had to go off on my own and make his shattered glass, because that's what I do. But it's still fun to have. It's fun to think about, you know. Especially since BotCon was so prevalent about using different body types. I think this is Shatterglass Magnus. This is Shatterglass Ultra Magnus. The body type he uses. So it's just kind of... That is the only real detriment about this too, other than the fact that the truck ended up looking a lot like Scourge still, is the fact that Magnus and Optimus both already use this body type at some point. So it's kind of weird to think about, oh, Blaster just does it too for some reason. But, well. It's my own thing. I love him. He's fun. But, yeah. That is pretty much all I have to say. So, please remember to check out my channel for more video and custom views, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can also come check out my Facebook and Twitter pages, links in the description below. And this is the 14th Prime, signing out.